my pleasure to introduce our next speaker. He is the co-founder and CEO of Apprentice.io, the world's first and only intelligence software platform built specifically for the life sciences. He is also a 2013 CBA grad. Please join me in giving a warm RTC welcome to none other than Mr. Angelo Stracquatanio.
Thank you so much, Eugene. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here today at the graduation, and I'm so proud of all of you who've worked so hard to get to this moment. All the nights, the weekends, the countless hours you spent leading up to this day, because I know how hard you worked, because over 10 years ago, I did it myself. The class of 2013, I'm an OG. You know, I sat in your chair, I heard your speeches, and I know what you're feeling right now. The only difference is I didn't have Zoom back in the day. But entrepreneurship is just unbelievably hard, but you've taken the absolute most important step on the journey, which is simply starting. You've done more than countless others before you that haven't, where you've actually taken the leap. And for that, you should be unbelievably proud. And what I'm going to share with you today in my speech is about what comes next, what happened to me after CBA, because at Apprentice now, we've raised over $200 million, or have over 200 employees. We're named the 60th fastest growing company on the Inc. 5000, and we're just named on the Forbes list of the next billion-dollar startups right here in New Jersey. And so tell you a bit more about Apprentice. We built the next generation of manufacturing software to help bring drugs to market. We help manufacture over 140 million doses of the COVID vaccine, and we're now working on the next CRISPR therapy to help not only treat disease, but cure disease. But what's crazy, though, is that before Apprentice, I didn't know how to manufacture anything, let alone drugs. And could I have predicted in my CBA graduation that I'd be doing what I do now, let alone at this scale? I would have thought you were crazy. But RTC didn't. Rising Tide didn't think I was crazy. They believed in me, and the principles and the techniques and the learnings from CBA has been not only instilled in me and my business, but it's been the fabric and the theme of my entrepreneurial journey. And the first thing to know about me is that I'm just a kid from Jersey City. Just like all of you here from New Jersey, there's nothing special, at least about me and my background. I went to public school. I didn't go to Ivy League. I didn't even learn how to write code in college. I didn't work for a fancy startup after graduation. And I didn't even work in life sciences before Apprentice. But I knew I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just didn't know how to be one. And I joined, though, CBA because my mom was watching the news and she saw Alpha on the news. And after that, I was like, you know, I'm going to do it. So I signed up, and I was nervous. I was shy. But my teachers and my instructor pulled that out of me and taught me the fundamentals, not only how to start a business, how to run a business, but ultimately build a business. And I was riding high coming out of graduation. And I was convinced within 6 months, I was going to be a wild success. I had 3 failed businesses before Apprentice. 3. That was 3 failed businesses after my CBA graduation. My favorite failure, just so you want to know, is called My Errands Online. And it was like Instacart before Instacart. The only difference, though, is that, you know, I didn't know how to pick out cucumbers at the grocery store. And so I was terrible at it. I really just was absolutely terrible. But I kept at it. I went through 2 other failed companies before I started Apprentice, and I just kept fighting until I met my wife, she's the one who was working in pharma manufacturing. And I guess naively, I thought that I can help her with her job, maybe trying to be a good husband, trying to impress my future wife. And so I started Apprentice all those years ago. But what's so interesting is that Rising Tide came back again, where I was talking to Alpha and Alex at dinner, and I will never forget this dinner. And the 2 of them, I'm like, you know, I have this idea to modernize manufacturing. I never manufactured anything in my life. And they're like, we believe in you. We believe in you, and go do it. And I did. But what's wild is that even after all that, it still took 10 years to build Apprentice. And the first 4 of that, I was still just me, my co-founder, my credit card. Probably a few credit cards, probably like 6 of them. And, you know, the crazy thing is that even after those first 4 years, we didn't hire our first employee until 5 years in. We didn't get to 20 employees until 7 years in, but we kept at it. And we kept at it until the pandemic hit. because that's when the industry turned to us to solve challenges that they hadn't seen in 100 years. And overnight, we had to scale the business from our bedrooms and had to solve COVID with COVID around us, which admittedly was the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. But that's the point. The point is entrepreneurship is really, really hard. And along the way, I've learned a lot. Number one, I have five tips for all of you inspired entrepreneurs. Is number one, it's going to take longer than you ever want. Whatever you think it's going to take, double it, probably triple it. And then after that, like add a few extra years for padding. The next is a principle I really live by, which is we win, you win, I win, in that order. And as an entrepreneur, you're going to make a lot of promises and goals to yourself, to your family, to your friends, to your loved ones of all kinds. And it's really important to never forget that they must win, that your family must win, and then you win in that order. Because truly, if you put yourself first, it's when I've seen myself get into trouble and I forget why I'm doing all of this. And ultimately, you're doing this for not only yourself, but for your family and the community around you. The third one, there's no greater gravity than product market fit. No matter what you do, what your business does, you need to make sure you find a problem, identify a problem, and solve it. And don't forget that serving your customers is what matters most, because the next piece of it is that trust is the hardest and most elusive, by far the most elusive part of this game. Trust must be earned every single day, every single moment, with not only your customers, but your employees, investors, and whoever else helps you along the way. And you never, never sacrifice that trust. And then one of the things that I like to do a lot is keep peeking around the corner, keep thinking about what's coming next, keep believing in the future and be inspired by the future. I do this thing each quarter called a vision quest. Don't judge me, it's a silly name. But I spend a few days by myself to really think and learn about what I need to do going forward. And ultimately, it'll allow you to be able to understand what's coming next, to predict what's going to happen in your business. And then lastly, don't give up. No matter what, don't give up. The single biggest thing I've learned is that wake up every day, get punched in the face, and just keep going. If you just do that, your chances of success are going to go up tenfold, because we believe in you. I believe in you. And I hope my story as a CBA graduate in your shoes after all these years inspires you to never give up, keep pushing, because the world right now needs you more than ever. Congratulations.